Mike Drake and D.J.Cox coming through the water box right now, and D.J.Cox, not to say that he necessarily opened up the candy bar and got the golden ticket, but D.J.Cox is in a very good spot in his career, and he earned it.
Absolutely. I mean, when you get a guy like Tony Bartone that agrees to let you get behind the wheel of his car, of course, that New York license plate on the back of the body, a very kind of staple in the alcohol funny car field, and a lot of people have sat behind the seat of Tony's car, including Tony himself, who was very, very successful for so many years. But DJ getting that opportunity, what a big deal that was to be able to slide into a quality team, a quality car, and a quality deal right off the bat. So D.J.Cox put up a run yesterday that wasn't quite a full pull. Ended up getting him a number 14 spot, was 1085, and when you look at the rest of the field right now, of course, Doug Gordon holding down the number 1 spot after yesterday's session with a 551. Brian Haug right there with him with 555. You start sliding your way back and seeing some of the racers like Mike Dushganian and Ulf Leanders, Johnny Lindberg, way down there towards the bottom of the field. You know that those were guys that were coming out trying to get a hold of the racetrack and couldn't get all of it. That's exactly what happened with DJ yesterday.
Tony Bartone, of course, is out here this weekend. We saw him last night. Our sympathies extended to him, his team, and his racing family. They lost one of their longtime crewmen yesterday. The news came through that he had passed away unexpectedly, and he was not with the team this weekend, but has been a part of Tony's racing operation very much. And Tony spoke very highly of him last night when we ran into him at the hotel. So racing with a heavy heart, but maybe some extra motivation for them this weekend.
Absolutely. Mike Drake over on the other side of the racetrack did not get a run in yesterday. So for Drake, this is kind of a big deal. D.J.Cox has a little bit of a wiggle in the middle, but no problem towards the top end. 547, 268 miles an hour.
Very late shoot for Drake. I don't know if he's going to get that thing hauled down or if he's going in the beach or not. And it looks like he went in.
Yeah, it looks like the nose might have gone in just a little bit. To see those chutes drop so rapidly down at the top end does kind of indicate that that car came to a halt quickly. But looking at D.J.Cox, 547, 268 miles an hour, goes from number 10 to number 1.
With a pedal.
Nice.
Yeah, or at least I shouldn't say with a lot of movement, right? With a fairly violent move in the middle of the racetrack, likely when he shifted that thing into high gear. He's the right man for the job, clearly. A little bit of a bouncing burnout there for Cox as the RPMs came down. And hopefully Anders. Dennis, you've been at this long enough and seen enough of this stuff. Just because Ulf Leanders is sitting at number 16, just because the first couple runs have not gone their way, this is a team that can punch far out of the number 16 whole weight class.
Yeah, and don't think D.J.Cox knows that, because he does. And it's really tough when you're the number 1 qualifier and you come up against a really, really quality car first round. Butterflies are big here in first round of eliminations.
Yeah, and Cox is in this car as the primary driver this year. He was one of a slightly rotating cast during the 2016 season, but he's playing lead this year.
Yeah, he certainly is. Great driver from the East Coast. He drove he drove 3 different funny cars last year. He drove the family car, which has a clutch. He drove the Andrika car, which has a converter. Now he's in a car that has a clutch again. But at least this one, he'll drive it all year long with no interruptions. No secret that they are going for the World Championship this year with DJ.
Yeah, they have staked their claim on that already. They are going to make a run at it. Hopefully Anders clears the motor out, throws the revs, gives what is basically the ready sign to D.J.Cox, and Cox responds by pre-staging. A red light start for Leanders. It shatters the tires, and he shuts it off. And, man, DJ was there for the taking. 6:13.4 at 169. I'm thinking either they got on the radio and told him the coast was clear, or something happened out there at about just before the 8th mile.
Yeah, actually pretty decent.
And there he goes. D.J.Cox actually ends up in the sand trap down there.
Well,
the car did not have any chutes deploy, and it is in pretty deep. It likely didn't have any brakes either.
Well, the reason he had trouble stopping it, obviously he had no brakes. He only went 169 miles an hour, so something happened there that took a brake line off of the car, and I'm afraid DJ probably had no other defense but to put that car in the sand.
And he is, as you'd expect, he is frustrated to get out of the car. You saw him kind of move his arms in a way that was like, ah. So he is out safely. 169-mile-an-hour speed. I had gone back to look at some incrementals down here, and unfortunately for him, he had no brakes.
Well, I tell you, when stuff like that happens, you want to put your feet through the floor and try to Fred Flintstone that thing to a stop, and probably could have if he'd got his feet through the aluminum floor pan.
The one thing that may lessen the blow on this a little bit, like Tom Huggins went in earlier in the Pro Stock car, and it really did a job on the front end of it because we had all that rain, we had all that water. The sand was very wet and clumpy down there. As you saw when Cox went in, here we go right now, we have a replay up here on the screen. When Cox went in, this thing's dried out pretty good. Let's watch the right side. We'll watch the left side first. See Leander's chatter the tires right there. DJ's cranking along, and the throttle blades close right about the 8th mile. And there is no, the car's not hopping, it's not bouncing, it's not nothing down there other than just going over the contours of the asphalt. He's working, doing whatever he can do in there, and at some point we're going to see the chutes come out of here. Bounced a little bit right there. He gets the thing squared up, and he knows he's going in at this point, and he takes the thing nose in first and covers a fair amount of real estate.
Now, you'd think it wouldn't do too much damage, but the biggest problem they're going to have is cleaning the car up. Luckily, second round is until tomorrow, so they do have all night to fix it. That's a brand new race car. It doesn't have a dozen runs on it yet, and I'll bet he's thinking, oh my gosh, now I've broken Tony's brand new race car. Boy,
Aussie Performance car back up here. They are taking over the AAA side of the racetrack. For those listening in online through our NHRA All Access, that AAA side of the track is the right lane here at the Auto Club Raceway at Pomona. And Terry Ruckman, I'll tell you, it's kind of an interesting thing. Terry's had a couple of final round appearances, including a win down in Las Vegas, and this man is very, very happy to be out here, the home builder out of Grand Junction, Colorado. But the Ruckman team, getting a lot of that help from Bob DeVore, they have really started to become, they were a contender before, but now you can never take that orange car lightly.
No, they switched to that Camaro body last year and immediately picked up and started running well. And once again, the Bartone brothers car running with a heavy heart this weekend after the passing of a guy we affectionately called Biggin, Big John DePhillips, and passed away from cancer just the other day.
Well, running with heavy hearts, but qualified out of the number 1 spot in yesterday's first round win. Definitely a good thing for them. And we may say that they're racing with heavy hearts, but it also helps to race with a little bit more intention, a little bit more desire to try and grab that win.
Well, and it's no secret that they are running for the championship with D.J.Cox as their chosen pilot here.
So D.J.Cox over on the right side, Terry Ruckman over on the left, the number 1 and number 8 qualifier. And kind of the thing of interest there is taking a look at where everybody got through round number 2. All of the higher qualified cars did advance into round number 2. So DJ, Terry, finish line. Huge jump on the starting line for Terry Ruckman. He gets way over near the wall, tries to pull it back in, but D.J.Cox has got a little bit too much race car. 541, 270 miles an hour. That is screaming.
Now, you don't see those Bartone crew members very, happy and jumping on the starting line very often, but boy, we sure saw it that time. 541, one of the quickest runs we've ever seen here at Pomona Raceway. Oh my goodness.
And the fun thing about that is he needed every bit of that 541 because the difference in reaction times, Terry Ruckman was psychic on the tree. 008, DJ was 113, and Terry was way out there until he got off to the side.
242, 2.42 to the 330 mark, the one I always think. Look at the margin, not even quite about a quarter of a car length there. 213 miles an hour at the 8th for D.J.Cox.
Screaming. Unbelievable. Nice. Fortunately, the trip comes up 1 round short here this weekend. Johnny Lindbergh will be back to the finals, and he will try to repeat what he did a year ago when we were out here. That's the Bartone brothers. Car piloted by D.J.Cox, and that is the CP Carrillo ride of Shane Westerfield. Again, we saw number 1 and number 4 qualified cars roll up here, and it was weird having the 1, 2, 3, and 4 qualifiers all move on.
And what's interesting about this is the Bartone car ran the AAA lane last time and set a new track record here of 541. They watched Johnny Lindbergh smoke the tires, and they still have chosen the Mark Christopher lane. What's up with that?
Stick with your choice.
Oh, man. Don't second-guess yourself? Is that what you're saying?
You got to go with that. It's going to be the only option that they've got right now. So Shane Westerfield, you see that 360 logo on the front of the race car. Again, the guys that are from just down the road in Anaheim every time they roll through the gates here at Pomona, not just because it's the Winter Nationals, not just because it's the first race of the year, but it is a home track race for these guys. Of course, the Bartone brothers coming all the way in from the New York area, and, well, they've got that Hussey Performance on the side. And like what you said earlier, their basic intention for this is not just win a couple of races, but capture a national championship.
They've got a pretty aggressive schedule this year. Let's see what happens.
So DJ, Shane, in, set, gone. Whoa! D.J.Cox turns the car sideways, clips the wall with the rear end. Shane Westerfield runs down to a 5:45 at 269 miles an hour. But D.J.Cox was all over the racetrack, and again, it comes back to that whole, they stuck with their gut, and the car went sideways.
DJ
wow,
had his hands full on that one, and for a couple of seconds it looked like it was going to impact the wall almost head on. Let's see if we can get a replay of that one here in just a second.
Well, we are seeing up there on the Sunoco vision that DJ is out of the car. He's pulling the gloves off. Safety Safari is attending to him at this point in time. How about this? The NHRA.com instant replay brought to you by Papa John's. Watch this. The throttle goes down, the butterflies open up, and the car immediately starts to make that move towards the center line. Right there, comes fully across the center line. DJ still trying to get a handle on that car, just violently rocking back and forth in a trip that would make a bull at the PBR jealous.
Well, that thing had some serious wheel speed, and that's what kept it going. DJ stepped off the gas when you're supposed to. He did everything right. These cars, sometimes they drive you.
Oh, that thing took DJ for a very wicked ride. But, again, we did say, DJ, get out of the car down there. The car finished coasting down, came to a stop just before that Mark Christopher scoreboard. Let's look at it one more time from another angle. It's right about there. You see the smoke that starts to pour off the tires, and it completely lifts the right-hand side of the car off the ground. By the time it drops back down, that car is hopping, skipping, and jumping. And like what you said, DJ doing everything that he should have done on that car. But it was just a little bit too much.
Quite frankly, he got very lucky with that. That could have been much, much worse.
Oh, we have seen some tremendous incidents with alcohol funny cars, especially when they get that out of shape, having a tendency to want to turn over, and for that to land back on all four tires, definitely a little bit of a blessing there. But they've got the safety Safari quads behind the Hussey Performance car for Bartone Brothers. They're going to get them pushed off to the top end, and once again, another shot of it from up close and personal. Right there, the front end of the car, hopping, skipping, jumping, and man, to see an alcohol funny car that sideways is just flat out scary.
And you see the throttle shut, a long time ago before it got to this point. And it just had so much wheel speed and got out there and got sideways. Just an incredible incident. And, we haven't even talked about Shane Westerfield with all this going on. Another 5:45 at 269 miles an hour. Shane has got this place on a rail. This is like a bracket car. Shane's doing a great job.
He's definitely got that figured out. But again, the laws of physics, you were talking about the throttle